Hi, this is Pat Moorhead, and we are back with the 6.5 podcast, an insider edition. We are talking semiconductors, we are talking CXL, and I am joined here by my incredible co-host, Daniel Newman. How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, man. Good to be back. Love these insider editions. Always love talking chips. Pat, didn't we say at one time that while all the other pundits were saying software will eat the world, what did we say?
We pretty much said semiconductors eat the world. What are you going to do? Run software on air, right?
Absolutely.
It was kind of our snarky approach at it, but we proved the naysayers wrong, and every analyst loves to do a good victory lap when they get it right like this. And we've gotten our fair share of these right about semiconductors. So I'm pretty happy about that. But hey, enough about us. Let's introduce our guest, Ryan Baxter from Micron. Ryan, how you doing? Great to see you.
Hey, great to see you guys again. Doing really well. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, it really is, and it's been great getting to know you over the past couple years,
Mhm.
and just kind of digging in and on memory and CXL. I love CXL. You know, I love CXL.
Oh, I know you do.
Hey, Pat, do
Yes,
you love CXL?
I love CXL.
You
Yes,
know
You know
what?
what
If
it
you
stands
say it
for?
one more time, I'm not going to believe you. I will
yeah.
not believe you. As I always like to say to my kids, who are you trying to convince? Me or yourself? Uh, no, listen, you know that Pat and I, we love talking semis and we love talking
Yeah.
technologies that that can make applications make whether it's more power or more efficient. We love it. Let's start there. Let's start first of all. We've had a conversation recently about HBM.
Mhm.
Now we're talking about CXL, and the industry loves acronyms, but we also have to assume that because we have a pretty big audience of CEOs all the way to the most technical people in any organization,
Yeah.
we
Right.
like to make sure that the vernacular is clear. So give us the quick what is CXL, and give us then a bit of an update on the status.
Of course. CXL stands for Compute Express Link. This is a brand new interface, primarily used in servers, that is high speed and low latency, and really enables some interesting new use cases that typically were either impossible or very difficult to enable with call it closed interfaces. This, by the way, is an interface that's broadly embraced and standard. This is actually can be monetized by the masses, and we're really excited about what it could mean for for future server architectures, and it's really right around the corner.
Yeah. Can you provide kind of an update on the status of CXL? Kind of where are we on this map?
Sure.
There's different flavors, there are different sub flavors out there. But listen, that's just part of establishing industry standard. I mean, we saw this with USB, we saw this with PCIe. So this
Yeah.
is par for the course. Where are we on the map right now?
Yeah, well, as you know, with any of those new interfaces, it's not just about the hardware. It's really about the ecosystem. And so, the ecosystem's really embracing CXL, and that goes all the way from the CPU vendors, to the ASIC vendors that are developing specialized silicon to essentially interface with Compute Express Link, software vendors, and even customers. We've got to think differently, and CXL enables us to do that. We've got now multiple ASIC vendors actually sampling silicon today, believe it or not. And so
Cool.
this silicon combined with DRAM can enable, memory bandwidth expansion as well as capacity expansion. And for the first time, we're actually able to actually test what we conjectured through simulation, perhaps a year ago. We're actually able to actually measure in silicon today, and we're actually seeing some very, very compelling results and value driven by CXL. Of course, we saw the next version of the CXL 3.0 specification published late last year. Of course, that enables even higher speed in the way of PCIe Gen 6, as well as fabric attached types of topologies that people might imagine exist in a server, in a highly connected fabric based server. Finally, I would say that the standards are coming along extraordinarily well. Of course, you can have the best whiz bang technology, but if it's proprietary and single
That's
source,
right.
it's not going to be widely adopted. So the CXL consortium, as well as JEDEC, has been hard at work to enable certain aspects of standardization, which I think can really help to break this market open and be able to enable it for the masses. So that's in a nutshell what's happening with CXL.
All right. So love to hear the background. Ecosystems always important. That's just really how this whole industry works. But use cases matter. How
Yep.
are people putting this to use? Give us kind of the early use cases that you're seeing that are, benefiting from CXL technology.
Yeah, good question. We have been looking at the use case of primarily memory capacity expansion, and this really shows up in the way of customers wanting to use a whole lot more memory in a cost effective way than typically what a non-CXL enabled server can support. Now, there's ways around that, but they are very costly. These are methods that use a technology called through silicon vias, which are very interesting, but are pretty tough to scale in terms of cost. And what CXL provides is a nice pressure release valve in the way of a significant TCO benefit to get that memory capacity expansion, not in the main memory footprint of a server, but rather, sitting alongside that main memory footprint, and that's off of that CXL bus. So, you can think of very, very large in-memory database types of applications that can benefit from that larger, more cost-effective memory footprint. Of course, bandwidth expansion. CXL, a single by 8 channel of CXL provides roughly the same amount of memory bandwidth as a single DDR5 channel. So obviously for bandwidth, starved applications, that becomes extremely interesting. And then the capacity expansion is just, icing on the cake from that perspective. We are also seeing, this concept of, again, it's connected to the first thing I talked about, but this TSV mitigation, really providing a much more cost-effective way to add a whole lot more capacity to, say, a cluster of servers, and that can be in the form of, say, adding memory footprint for a single CPU. It could also be in the form of adding, say, a pool of memory so that multiple CPUs can access that pool of memory. That becomes, very important when you're thinking about, applications that are increasingly hungry for additional high performance capacity. Now, you can always use other tiers of the memory storage hierarchy, but of course you're paying a performance penalty by heading out to an SSD for your data. So CXL really does provide that high performance use case, shot in the arm, if you will, to some of the more interesting applications.
I want to do the double click inside a topic that Dan and I can't go an hour without discussing, and those are things like natural language models, like ChatGPT. I mean, it is amazing, all of the talk, and this one's real, right?
Yeah.
This one's real, and believe that it's going to last a long time to provide an incredible amount of benefit to consumers and businesses, but hardware players need to step up and support it in more efficient ways.
Right.
I mean, it takes 10x the amount of resources to train a model, and it takes a lot more resources to infer one of these models. How does CXL intersect with this? How does it benefit in making either blasting out more performance or doing it a lot more efficiently at a lower power?
Right. Yeah, it's a great question. It's kind of top of mind for a lot of folks these days. I think ultimately what CXL enables in this space is optionality. You don't have to bring a sledgehammer to the job anymore. You can pick your tool to bring that, to things like generative AI and large language models. And so, what CXL provides is kind of that flexibility. it's flexibility in the form of enabling things like switches and fabrics to really leverage data flow, efficient data flow, and efficient connection of compute elements across fabrics rather than sort of pushing everything to a single spot in the data center. You might be able to imagine a situation where with CXL enabled fabrics, you can solve that same problem in a much more distributed, probably more power efficient way. It also provides significantly better scale when it comes to housing some of those large language models. They're large and getting larger. These are models that have billions, if not hundreds of billions of parameters and growing over time. Some of the more interesting problems no longer fit inside the memory footprint of a standard server. So being able to leverage CXL for that additional capacity expansion that you need to house that model, as I said, a very high performance, low latency media is going to be critical, I think, and really able to sort of break open the democratization of AI and really allow system designers, architectures quite a bit more flexibility to think about how else to solve this problem other than the traditional ways we've been able to do it thus far.
So Ryan, just quick follow up on that because I like talking about large language models a lot. Do you think this could be sort of the breakout technology? Because I've talked to a lot of press. I've been asked about CXL a lot, and it's like it kind of caught on, then it kind of went away. And I'm not saying it never went away for you, I'm sure, but you look at kind of how it gets hot as a stage topic at tech events. But with all the onset of this AI stuff, do you think this is going to be maybe what really puts CXL back into the limelight again?
Yeah, that could very well be. It offers some really interesting capability that that really is desperately needed. Prior to even some of the buzz around generative AI, I think this could even again be kind of that shot of adrenaline to be able to accelerate the potential to solve new problems much faster than you otherwise would have been able to do. Again, this is an open consortium, a group of companies that have embraced this technology and can innovate at their own pace. And I think the collection of that innovation across the entire ecosystem is really what's going to accelerate exactly what you just said. It's providing a lot more benefit to a lot more corners of the community to enable folks to solve all sorts of problems, including generative AI problems.
Ryan, we started the conversation by asking the question, kind of like, okay, what is it, and where are we on this map, right? And for I guess everybody would want to argue this. There are essentially three specifications that are out there, right? 1, 2, and 3, and then there's some different adders on top of that, some optionality. What is the next big step that people need to be ready for? What should they be ready for upcoming? And I'll leave it up to you, whether it's 6 months, year, 3 months.
Yeah, great question. I think there's been a lot of work around the specifications, a lot of work trying to understand aspects of a value proposition that CXL can bring to the table. I think the next big thing is to actually see this in silicon and in volume silicon at scale. What it could mean to an entire data center, for instance, in terms of efficient data movement, adding significant capability, and really driving additional sustainability that needs to happen in this industry. I think that's and that's going to happen really over the next, say, 12 to 18 months. It's very exciting to see this transpire, and of course thinking about the next generation or the next specification version doesn't stop, right? That happens in parallel, and so it's about kind of watching the industry leapfrog itself in terms of in terms of what's next. And so silicon at scale, I think, is the next next thing to watch. And then after that, sharing, pooling becomes extremely interesting in the CXL 3.0 timeframe. So yeah, strap in. It's going to be a fun ride.
I love strapping in. Any ride in the semiconductors space gets me excited, or fast cars, rocket ships, roller coasters. So you got me excited. So look, as we come to time here, any other kind of broader thoughts, observations around the CXL space that you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, I said it at the front of the talk. I guess CXL is real. This is not something that's 3, 4, 5 years away anymore. This is we're actually looking at actual silicon and seeing benefit from actual use cases. So, number one. Number two, I would say there's broad excitement. Of course, things kind of come and go as far as what people get excited about, but CXL is being designed in everywhere, and it's interesting, and what it enables is very, very valuable in terms of TCO and performance and memory capacity expansion benefits. Finally, I think CXL provides or enables a significant expansion of new innovation, new ways to do or to solve either old problems or brand new problems that were never able to be solved with traditional architecture. So the industry is actually going to have to make some pretty interesting decisions, because we probably can't do everything, right? We have to focus and really drive the best bang for the buck when it comes to the benefit for the entire community. So just a few closing thoughts. I think that's CXL is real, and it's coming. So I said, get ready for it.
It's exciting stuff. I love talking CXL, and I know, this is going to be one of the big drivers of data center re-architecture. I know there's a lot of benefits between now and then. That is the talk when I talk to the hyperscalers about next generation architectures, and of course, there's the discussions, the gnashing of teeth that you would expect. But that's the case with any major tectonic shift out there. I'm really excited about it. Ryan, great to see you, buddy. Let's do this again.
Will do. Take care, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, Ryan. All right, everybody. There you have it. Great 6.5 Insider here today, talking CXL, memory, large language models, ChatGPT. We fit that in. It's in every pod now. What the heck? But hit that subscribe button. Join us for all the episodes here of the 6.5, our weekly show, our insider editions, our summit, whichever thing it is, the 6.5, we're always here. We've always got you when it comes to the most important conversations in the tech space. But for this episode, for Patrick Moorhead and myself, it's time to say goodbye. We'll see you all later.